Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another Brilliant Businesses podcast. My name is Nick Bryant, and I'm here today with Darren Austin from Synergy Accountants, Chartered Accountants and Business Advisors. I've known Darren for a number of years. He's always helped me with some business ideas and business concepts. And his story is not dissimilar to a lot of ours, where he left school, didn't really know what he was going to do, but it found him and he stuck with it. And now he's got a very, very successful business. So, Darren, it's good to see you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, Nick. How are you?
Very well, good, very good, very well. Thank you, very well. Perhaps if you could start by going back to the beginning, like we did on the Brilliant Business website, and tell us how it all started and share your journey with us.
Yeah, sure. Well, as you said, I was leaving school a couple of weeks before I was due to leave school. I was 16, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. And then via someone my father knew, I got an offer of a job in accountancy. And never occurred to me before, but I thought, well, you know what? I'll give it a try, something to do until something better comes along. So, yeah, in 1981, I went along to a firm in Victoria and started what has obviously become a bit of a career in accountancy. So, in all honesty, I did it for a few years there, just thinking it was just something to do. Actually realised I was quite good at it, but you don't get paid very well unless you're qualified. Yeah. So I went back to school, did my A-levels, did a conversion course down in Maidstone, did all my professional exams, qualified quite late because I started late, I qualified at 29. And yeah, that's it really. So I was with my first firm for 14 years in different places in London. I then left them and joined some bigger firms to get different experience, also in London, and sort of ended up working on some much larger jobs, you know, a few 100 million turnover, multinational companies. So I got some good experience of that. And then I moved to Tunbridge Wells to start work with someone that I met when I was training. And we started working in Tunbridge Wells in 97, which was a big change for me, obviously moving job, moving house. But that all went well. And worked for a couple of different firms over the years. And then together with Matt, who you know, a colleague of mine, we were working together at a previous firm. And we had one of those, we could do this better ourselves moments. The old entrepreneurial seizure. Yeah. And in 2007, Synergy was born. Amazing. So it started off with Matt and I and our PA from our old firm. And then it's slowly grown, and there's currently 10 of us. So we're 13 years down the road and still thoroughly enjoying it. Yeah. And whatever better was supposed to come along never happened. So I'm still enjoying being an accountant.
It was obviously meant to be, mate, wasn't it? Obviously
it looks that way, yeah, indeed.
Yeah, and it's funny, isn't it, how your path is kind of put out in front of you without you even realising it. I think it's really tough at the beginning for kids to leave school and go, right, I want to be this. You know, it's really hard to know that. And when it finds you, like it did you, and you stick with it, then it's blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I think two things. I think you're quite right. It found me rather than anything else. But I also think I was very lucky at the time I did it, that the opportunity was there. I think it was, almost 40 years ago. It's a very different world.
Yeah, sure.
I think that'd be much more difficult now for someone to leave school with no idea and fall into something and it be successful. I think I was just lucky, right time, right place.
Yeah. You say about it being a different world back then as it is till now, and of course it is a different world right now with what we're going through. Tell us a little bit about how it's impacted your business, COVID-19.
We say it's had a few impacts on ourselves and obviously on our clients. So on ourselves, 6-7 weeks ago we shut the office. We've all moved to working from home, and that's gone pretty well because we were paperless before anyway. Our services in the cloud, so working from home, other than being more difficult to communicate with your colleagues, hasn't really had an impact. We've still got someone going into the office every day, opening the post, scanning it and getting it round to everybody. We've started using Zoom and Teams, which were fairly new to us, but I have to say the technology has worked really well. So it's made the change. I'm actually enjoying working from home. It's quite a pleasant difference, but we're still doing 3 days a week, 10 o'clock, we're having coffee time and we're all on a Zoom meeting, have a chat about what's going on. So we're keeping the contact going as well. And just the use of technology, if I want to review a file with one of my colleagues, we just book some time and do it over Teams or Zoom.
Yeah.
So that's working quite well. It's had an impact in the services we're offering. Obviously, all the things because of COVID, the support packages, the furloughing schemes. We've had to spend an awful lot of time getting our heads around those and how they work. And what that's meant in how we interact with clients is we've had to be providing a lot more information. So we've sent out 7 mail shots so far. We've done about we did a webinar we had about 60 people on that lasted about an hour. And for individual clients, that's all sort of generic stuff, but for individual clients, we're having to provide a lot more information and support in terms of forecasting. There are some clients that want that need more than bounce back loan that's available now. So we're having to put together plans to help them, number one, convince themselves it's the right thing to do. Yeah. And once they've done that, then go to the bank and hopefully convince the bank. Yeah. So yeah, lots of different things going on.
And it's really changed the way you do business, and we've had to adapt to it, haven't we? And these things like this, but also for you guys, I think people come to you because they need advice about something, as far as furloughing or any of those schemes, those grant schemes, and you've got to do your research because you've got to have the right answers for them because they trust you and they come to you. So you've got to put a lot of work in the background, which is all part of your service to learn that stuff and really get that stuff in your head so you can get that message over. And that must be quite tough.
It's been very time consuming.
Yeah.
And one of the things specifically about this was the way the legislation's been drafted. It hasn't been, there's been a white paper and then consultation and then they published the final bit. They've jumped in and done it and then tinkered with it as they've gone along. So what we found is we spent a lot of time working out, okay, the furlough scheme, how's it going to work? And you spend hours getting your head around it. We do mail shots about it, and then you suddenly see there's an update. Okay, it's not that now, it's that, or it's not this date, it's that date. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm busier now. I'm putting more hours in than I usually do, but actually most of that is non-chargeable because most of it is research. Yeah. And every time I send an update, which is going out to 500-600 people, understandably, I'm getting lots of responses saying, well, thanks for that, was great, but how does that specific bit apply to me? Yeah. And that might be a 5, 10, 15 minute response by email, but you multiply that by 50, 60 emails. And I have literally spent days, which I'm not charging for because we don't do it that way. We don't charge for helping clients on answers like that. It just takes up an awful lot of time. And hopefully what it means is, my clients will be stronger and get through this, and we'll carry on with a great working relationship afterwards.
Yeah, it creates a good relationship between you and those guys, doesn't it? With that advice, so that's really cool. So what about? So I guess now you're going to be advising businesses to do things a bit differently as we come out of lockdown. Maybe do things a bit more slicker, maybe or
yeah, probably. I mean, one of the things we've always been like a core belief of ours is we want to empower our clients to have the information at their fingertips to make informed business decisions. So we always suggest to clients, make sure your accounting records are up to date. You know what's driving your profits, so that if you do need to make a decision, you've got the information. And I think that's even more important now. What we want is when our clients, with new clients and our existing clients, is we're pushing, particularly for us, cloud software, QuickBooks Xero. Yeah. It's great. It's collaborative because we can all see the same data, but also the level of integration where you can link it to the banks, you can link it to forecasting software. It just means you're much more flexible and quick. When suddenly someone says, well, actually, that tap's turned off, and what do I do about that? We can jump on and advise much more quickly. So I think what we're going to be doing with clients going forward is certainly over half our client base. I think we've got almost 400 people on cloud software. We're going to work with the others now to try and move them towards that. And the reason being, we can say, look, we've got complete view of what's going on there, and we can help you make those decisions when you need to make them. Yeah. But I think the other big thing that we've got to look at with clients coming back after this is we've seen there's been lots of support in terms of grants, like the 10,000 grant and the furlough. Yeah. That's great. That's come in. It hasn't got to go back. But we've had lots of deferments as well. You haven't got to pay your VAT bill at the moment.
Sure.
You haven't got to pay your PAYE, perhaps your court tax. And we've already got clients going that have received loans under the bounce back scheme of up to 50,000. Well, that's great and it's getting you through it. But from March next year, some of that's going to have to start being paid back. So I think one of the important things, not only having up-to-date information of where you are now, but having a good idea of your cash forecast, what your business is going to look like over the next 24 months, so that it's not suddenly a surprise when you've got to start making repayments come March next year. So I think the advice is going to be, make sure you're up to date, make sure you're forward looking, and keep an eye on cash.
Yeah, so that's a good bit of advice. People forget about it, don't they? It's all very nice now getting it all in, but then you've got to pay it back. So
absolutely.
Yeah, you've got to think about it. So I guess does that mirror what you're doing with your business? I mean, the priorities that you have in your business and running Synergy, will that change because of this? Will you do things differently yourself?
Well, in terms of the up-to-date information and forecasting, touch wood, we've got that in place already. So we've got a good handle. Obviously, no one's got a crystal ball, so we don't quite know how things are going to change, but we're on top of that. I think a couple of the things that have come out of this, just maybe the way we operate, is, I'm not saying we'll get rid of the office completely, but certainly some of our staff that have got long travel times, I've got one guy, he's got an hour each way in the car.
Right.
Working from home works really well. We're already, he's considering, perhaps when this is over to some level of normality, I come in one day a week or, whatever, just when there are client meetings, and work from home the rest of the time. So I can see we might be a bit more flexible on working from home if that's what the staff want to do.
Yeah.
You never know, eventually, if all staff say, or half the staff say, I want to do that, at some stage you think, well, maybe I move to smaller serviced offices and just rent meeting rooms when I want to.
Yeah.
I can see a lot of businesses, particularly people in London that are commuting every day and have got really expensive premises. I can see both from the commute and the cost point of view, a lot of people are thinking, this has worked well for 6 weeks. Why don't we consider this on a more permanent basis? And even things where perhaps now, if I do, someone's year-end accounts, I would normally go to them or them come to me to review them. Well, actually, Zoom's been working pretty well and you can screen share. It suddenly makes you think, why do I want to waste an hour commuting when I can just as well have something like this and achieve exactly the same? And, maybe we want to, if we, from a social point of view, want to go and keep in touch with clients, well, we can do that, but we can do that of an evening or after work, or, I think there's going to be lots of thinking about why is there so much dead time and perhaps dead rent and things like that going on when we've seen for the last 6 weeks, you can perfectly well work without it.
Yeah, I think that's a good bit of advice, and I think that is coming. I agree with you. I actually think that's really exciting, though, because it's going to make us all more efficient and just open up whole new opportunities. And I think that's going to be beneficial to all of us.
No, I think absolutely. I agree.
Darren, that's cool, mate. Yeah, that's really interesting to hear your story, and really interesting to hear your point of views on things. What's the next plans for Synergy then? You got, I guess you don't know really until we get out of this, but as far as growth,
continued growth. I mean, we've always loved adopting technology. We're doing the cloud software, and there is so much going on in that market. It's 39 years I've been in the business. It's probably changed more in the last 9 than the previous 30. And that pace of change is accelerating. So our point of view is, and I'm excited about it because I'm a bit of a geek on that side of it. I love the technology aspect of it. Is just keep looking at what's coming, keep working out which bit of it works, and the bits that work, and as soon as they're tested, is let's introduce those to, keep introducing it to clients, so that everything's a little more efficient and just makes life easier for everybody. So I think continue doing what we're doing, grow the business, and hopefully continue enjoying it.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan, mate. It's all about enjoyment, isn't it?
It's got to be.
So
we spend too much time doing it not to enjoy it.
Exactly. Yeah. So Darren's details are all on the Brilliant Businesses website. If you've got any business inquiries, accountant queries, anything like that, Darren is your man. I will leave the details on the bottom of this YouTube video and these podcasts. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe to us. Darren, thank you very much for joining me today. Really interesting to see you and hear you.
That was my pleasure. Cheers, Nick. Thanks for the opportunity.
Pleasure. I'll see you again soon, mate. Cheers. Bye.
Take care, mate. Cheers. Bye.